Anyway, Anna, tell me about your all-nighter experience in the Oscars.
Well, it was great. Yeah, I stood up. That makes no sense. What did I do? I stayed up.
You pulled an all-nighter, no? Yeah, you stood up. You stood up watching the Oscars the entire time.
I stayed up till 6 a.m.
Whoa.
because I was watching the Oscars. And then I woke up at 2 p.m.
That's not bad. You got your 8 hours of sleep in.
My life is ruined now, though.
Yeah, your sleep schedule must be like completely gone.
It is gone, but my all-nighter was wonderful. I'm used to all-nighters. I used to pull them all the time when I was in high school to study physics because I'm cool. But, you know, I'm getting older.
I think we're all feeling that these days, aren't we?
Yeah, these days.
Hurts a lot these days. Really, it's beginning to cause me a lot of pain, to say the least.
We sound like grandmothers now. Hi, everybody listening. Hey, Emily, you're still alive.
I am. By some kind of magical circumstance, I am. And even more so for you, no? You were just telling me that you pulled an all-nighter. Is that true?
That is very much true, and I can't say that I'm fully alive, but, you know, somehow I am also able to speak and maybe even understand what is being said to me.
That's great. Let's just clarify. An all-nighter is a compound verb in English, and it means when you stay awake all night. And honestly, it's something that I think I have only done maybe twice in my life. But you're quite accustomed to it, aren't you, Anna?
I am. I am one of those people who will stay up all night writing their essay if it's due the next day in the morning, because I can't do it in advance. That would be too easy.
Nah. What I do is I have my sleepy times, and then I wake up in the morning and I panic write everything immediately. I see the appeal though of pulling an all-nighter, because I think that you can, you know, you feel more safe when you know that you have completed something, especially at university.
Truly.
But you have pulled an all-nighter for a different reason this time, right?
I have, actually, a very different reason. This was much more pleasant, I would say, for me. It was not as stressful because I was watching the Oscars, which obviously are being held in LA. And, you know, since I live in Finland, it is... It just has to be an all-nighter because they start at 3 a.m. for me.
Oh, that's nasty. You sent me a message, I remember, at like 11 p.m. where I am in Spain. And you were like, oh my god, the Oscars are tonight. And I thought that they started at that moment, but apparently not then.
No.
Goodness me.
No.
I must say, I'm not really familiar with the Oscars crowd. I feel like there's a lot of people that really enjoy watching it, but I don't feel like I've never tried it, to be honest. Tell me, what is the appeal of the Oscars? Why do you enjoy it so much?
Well, I think different people like the Oscars for different reasons, obviously. I personally, I'm just a big fan of films. Like, I've always been a film buff. I've always really liked films and everything to do with films, and even the technical side, which might be boring for a lot of people. Like my mother, for example, watches them because of the outfits. She likes the red carpet like part in the beginning where, you know, everybody arrives and you can see all the dresses and all the suits.
Yeah. I totally agree with your mum in that regard, because I always watch people's reactions to the Met Gala as well, for the same reason. I love watching people's crazy dresses. It's like one of my favourite things. And be like, I would never wear that. That's insane, right? But tell me, like I said, I'm not very used to talking about the Oscars or any kind of awards ceremony, because there's quite a few, no, around this time of year. We have the Oscars and the Golden Globes, and oh, please, Anna, help me. I have no idea.
Oh god, yeah, there are so many. I would say those two are the main ones because all the actual film festivals happen at a different time. So we have the Golden Globes, we have the Oscars, we have some other smaller awards, but I think those are probably the most important ones to a lot of film buffs like me. Although, the Oscars are the main event.
I've noticed you keep saying this word buff. What does that mean, Anna?
A buff is like a fan, basically. A big fan, an aficionado, a person who knows a lot about something and is very interested in something. So, for example, a film buff, which is me. I love films. I know a lot about films and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of people from the United States are like Civil War buffs because they like learning about the history. Maybe they have some of the memorabilia, some of the things from the war. That's quite a common expression. The word buff actually comes from the United States. But yes, if you guys over in Spain probably heard that correctly, Anna used the word aficionado, which is a word that we also use in English. We also say aficionado. We just pronounce it like English people. We don't say aficionado, we just say aficionado. Okay. but that's true, right? That's awesome. Yeah, I think that, lots of people prefer watching the Oscars or the Golden Globes because they know that all the big celebrities are going to be there, and that's where all the big prizes are as well.
Yeah.
The things that you get in these ceremonies, they're so much more important now.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Also, I think because of the actual show, like, obviously the Oscars are also about, the show, the hosts. Every year it's like a thing, who's going to host the Oscars? Or, the music numbers, the performances.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a big deal. I mean, everybody was talking a lot about the host this year now. A little bit of controversy, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, there are a lot of hosts, so one of them.
Yes, that's true. They have a lot of people announcing the prizes, don't they, the awards.
Those are presenters, yeah.
Oh, God, there's differences between all of them. Emily hasn't done her research today. Oh dear. But okay. So there's a difference between the host and the presenter. So you're telling me that poor Chris Rock who got slapped he wasn't even hosting the whole thing. It was just a short while.
Amy Schumer, Wanda Sykes, and Regina Hall were the three hosts.
So I want to go back to what we were saying before. Because yes, I think lots of people watch the Oscars because of the hosts and the music and all of the different performances that are very, very cool. But there was a little bit of controversy this year, wasn't there, Anna?
There was.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure that every single year there is some kind of controversy. Controversy is what we say in English when we want to describe a disagreement, a public disagreement, or something political that is causing a lot of drama in the community. And in this case, there was a little fight, no? Will Smith slapped one of the presenters in the Oscars, and many people are divided on who was in the right and who was in the wrong.
Definitely, there has been a lot of talk about this after it happened. But yeah, it was definitely a weird moment, I would say.
Yeah. It was very awkward. I feel like it ruins the tone of the performance. You're there to celebrate everybody's successes and just boom, punch in the face. I think that it was dealt with very professionally, and it will be interesting to see what final decision is made about the controversy on whether or not Will Smith has to return his Oscar because he won an award. So it's going to be interesting to see. But in your opinion, Anna, do you think that these awards ceremonies are fair?
Yes and no. I definitely think that they are more fair now than they have been. So obviously Oscars have kind of been known for not celebrating female directors and not celebrating women or people of color, or just it's basically been white men. But I also think that it's not just the Oscars, it's the film industry in itself.
Yeah, exactly. They always, when they want to make a good excuse about perhaps why women are not represented in the film industry, but they always blame the Academy in these situations. And I don't even know, when I think of the Academy, I just think of like a group of very old people making random decisions. I think that sometimes the Oscars feels a little bit like more of a show than it is actually awarding people for their hard work. So I'm sure that there are plenty of less popular movies that perhaps deserve an Oscar technically, but didn't receive one. Very typical situation.
It's definitely like, I think that obviously a lot of the films that have gotten Oscars and that have gotten nominated are very important films. Like, they talk about important topics and serious topics, but also sometimes some directors have been, and writers have been sort of almost accused of like Oscars baiting, which is where you...
Oscar baiting. Wow, what an interesting expression. What does that mean?
Basically, it's like, it's making a movie or a script with like the intention of getting an Oscar, making an intentionally, in quotation marks, deep film about a topic that the director or the writer knows that, this is an important topic, this will get me nominated, you know.
Wow, how cynical.
Yeah.
But also believable, because I feel like a lot of things nowadays maybe feel like they are created for that purpose, and they don't feel like they have like a passion or heart or anything like that behind them. But that's very interesting. Were there any nominees in this awards ceremony that you were happy to see, or any that you were not happy to see?
Well, I was happy to see Kenneth Branagh win, genuinely, because I think that he has written and directed some very great films. I haven't seen Belfast, which is the film that he won his screenplay award for, but I think I really, really look up to him as like a director and a writer, so I was very glad to see him win.
Cool. What does look up to mean?
Look up to is like, it's to admire, to respect someone. And sort of maybe if they're in your own field, if you look up to them, then maybe you kind of want to almost, you're inspired by them.
Very nice, yes. I think that especially for you, because you used to be a film studies student in Edinburgh before you met me, right?
Yeah.
So I guess it makes sense for you to look up to these different directors and different actors, and that's cool, very cool. Well, that's all I really have to ask you about the Oscars. Do you have any movie recommendations for the audience back home, perhaps to practice their English?
Well, I personally really like Dune, the film. I think is incredible. It won several awards. I think it should have won even more. Because I really like it as a film, and I think everybody should go and watch it. I haven't seen Belfast, but it got an award, and also the accents are probably interesting for people learning English.
Yeah, in Belfast, I don't even want to imagine. I would fear for these students that attempt. No, I'm just kidding. People are from Belfast. I know some people, and they have beautiful accents. I have to say that because if I didn't, then they would kill me. But that's great.
I also think that the film that won the best Oscar, Coda, it has a lot of sign language in it. And that could be really interesting. I also have not seen it, but it was very, I think, touching to see the actor in Coda win the award for Best Supporting Actor. And he delivered his speech in sign language, which I think was very interesting.
That's really cool.
And really cool, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Yes, and if you aren't already aware, a speech is when you give a formal address to an audience. In fact, very quickly, let's summarize the rest of our vocabulary for this episode. Mm-hmm. First of all, we have an awards ceremony, which is a celebration where people win prizes for their hard work. For example, in this case, movies. And an award or a prize is what you get in an award ceremony if you have done particularly well.
Yes, an all-nighter is basically when you stay awake all night. So you are awake all night, it's an all-nighter. I think that is pretty self-explanatory. And then buff, we discussed this. It's like a fan, an aficionado, a person who knows a lot and is interested in something.
Absolutely. And then we also talked about the controversy idea, a public disagreement where lots of people are very divided on something. Maybe something that is happening right now as well. So there is a current controversy about the behaviour of Will Smith and Chris Rock in the Oscars this year. And then we also talked about nominees, the people who are nominated for something, because there were very many nominees, but only a few people actually win the awards. Mm-hmm. And finally, now this is a word we didn't talk about, but I still think it's very interesting to talk about this concept. You mentioned baiting for awards at the Oscars. To bait is actually, we normally use the word bait when we talk about catching an animal. You maybe put some food out to allow the animal to be convinced by the food, and then you can trap the animal. If you bait for an Oscar, perhaps you create a situation where the Academy is like, ooh, that's a nice movie. And then they don't have a choice but to give you an award. So to bait something is to try and get its attention, right?
Yeah.
And also, the opposite of that, if the Academy is not baited by you and they don't find your movie particularly interesting for no particular reason, we tend to use the word snub. Snubbing is when perhaps an industry or an institution ignores a movie for some particular reason.
There was a snub this year, though.
Oh yeah, what was that?
The actress from West Side Story was invited to the Oscars like 5 days before the Oscars. Because it became,
really?
Yeah, she like tweeted out something. I can't remember what, but she wasn't invited, and then the Academy went, oh yeah, you are invited, and she they gave her a presenter role.
Wow, they felt so bad. Maybe they were just going to snub her. They were just like, no, we're going to ignore this lady. But that's really interesting. So we've got lots of nice vocabulary here, I'd say. A little mix of everything. I hope that everybody at home found this useful. Anna and I, as we are both big movie buffs, we are always ready for some recommendations. We will put a list of recommendations to practice English with movies on our website. But if you have any recommendations for movies, why don't you leave us a comment, send us a message, and you might see your answer featured on the website.
Yes.
All right, excellent. So thank you very much. It's been nice to see that you are still alive, Anna. And I will see you next week. Goodbye to everyone else too.
Yes, I will see you all next week. I'm gonna go sleep now.
Good night, Anna.
Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment below if you have any questions related to the topic, and we will try our best to respond to you. Please subscribe to the channel for a new podcast episode every Saturday, as well as essential tips during the week. See you next time!